Hello everybody and welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 21 Perfect Team, and another week is in the books. And if you remember last week, I won it all. I won the Iron Series World Series and was promoted up into the Bronze League. And the goal for this week was to remain in the Bronze League and not get demoted. I was happy to not remain in it if I got promoted, obviously. And I'm pleased to report I probably had a better than expected season. And as you can see here with the playoff tree, we went ahead and made the wildcard series. Unfortunately, we did fall 2-0 to the North Bend Mustangs, who actually went on to win the whole thing. So had I been able to turn around that result, you never know where I might have finished. But anyway, what that means is that we remain in the Bronze League for the next season, season 2029 in-game. And we get to consolidate our position in this particular league, which I'm pretty satisfied with. So if we take a look at the standings here, we ended up with 89 wins, and we ended up 11 wins behind the Hyde Park Heaters, which in the end blew out a little bit, to be fair. At one stage I was pretty close. I was only like 2 games behind, but just couldn't hold my play together and ended up, like I say, in that wild card position. But I comfortably did finish in the wild card position here, 4 games ahead of the next team, who were the eventual winners of the World Series. In fact, they only won 85 games. Just shows. Whereas we had these teams up here winning 98 games, 88 in the Central NC Central Division. Get it right. The 101 winning Copperheads, 101 win Copperheads, I should say. They also couldn't get it done. So how about that? North Bend Mustangs, so we finished 4 games better off, ended up winning it all. So let's go ahead and take a look at our team's performance over the year. And I did make one off-season acquisition, and that was Matt Holliday. I talked about the fact that I wanted to relieve Jock Peterson. He just didn't have the offensive capability. He certainly had the defensive capability. And I went ahead and picked up Matt Holliday, and he ended up producing a very good stat line for his first season here with the Tuatara. 269 average, 352 on-base percentage, 409 slugging, and a WAR of 2.0, so pretty solid there. And what did he end up having? 14 home runs, 49 RBI, so a pretty decent start to his career here at the Tuatara. Let's take a quick look at his zone rating, +3, so yeah, didn't lose too much there from a fielding point of view. So pretty happy with that. In the end, Tom Haller, he's been a perennial performer for us, ended up on fire or on a hot streak for the season. He had an on-base percentage of 368, 44 base on balls, 72 runs, 69 RBIs, and 23 homers. Slugging of 527, that's nice. OPS of 895, OPS plus of 141, that's a really nice number, and a WAR of 5.1. And if we sort the team by WAR, or sort the offensive players, Tom Haller there comes through with the best WAR in the team. Closely followed by Troy Tulowitzki with 4.4. He's actually been a decent performer for us. If you take a look at this, look at his WAR, 4.4, 6.9. He's been a very consistent performer on the back of his outstanding fielding. He's been pretty solid from a batting point of view. Nothing amazing, but really he makes up with it with that fielding prowess. He's been an all-star also. And what's this? Oh yeah, Iron Level champion from last year, of course. Let's take a look at who's been the best from a hits point of view. Ray Durham, good to see him up there, the second baseman. And closely followed by Anthony Rizzo, who always gets there or thereabouts. 269 and 343 in terms of average and on-base percentage for Rizzo. Let's look at the doubles. Anthony Rizzo right up there again. He ended up with a 2.0 WAR, by the way. And 3 bases, triples, Ray Durham and Anthony Rizzo in there again. Home runs, the top home run hitter was Tom Haller, followed by Ray Durham, George Springer, and Troy Tulowitzki, so in the 20s there. That's more than respectable. RBIs, 96 for Ray Durham. What did he have? He had a 2.6 WAR and 36 stolen bases, by the way, and that will be because speed and stealing is good. I've put him on a individual strategy for him to steal as many bases as he can. Runs, we had Tom Haller, Matt Holliday, and George Springer. And from a walks perspective, Bryce Harper up there. So I feel like we've got a pretty good offensive team, to be honest. Let's take a look at stolen bases. We've got Ray Durham and the perennial, I'll use that word twice now, stolen base king in the team, Jose Ramirez with 29. So if we take a look at the WAR all round, the good news is that all our players, our starting players, are right up there. Bryce Harper did have a bit of a down season, which he was a home run hero, obviously, from the World Series last year. And our on the bench players here, they are the ones at the bottom here from a WAR point of view. No surprises there. But good to see some more consistent WAR performances there by the offensive team. Okay, let's check out the pitching. So, our starters, a quick look at ERA, which is one stat to look at, and wins. Dutch Leonard 10 and 14 with a 4.48, nothing amazing. 13 and 8 for Strasbourg, which is pretty solid. 4.83 is a little high. Let's have a look at Strasbourg's FIP is 4.57, so you didn't pitch amazing this year. Carlton, much better ERA, 3.22, 16 and 8, really the outstanding performer there by the looks of it. Let's take a look at his FIP. 3.27 and a 5.4 WAR, so he really did have a fantastic season. And Shane Bieber there, 4.07 ERA, 16 and 10 was decent. He ended up with a FIP of 3.76, which is more than respectable once again. 4.0 WAR, that's nice. And then Clayton Kershaw, he's a bit of an enigma, not a greatest player here, unfortunately. 12 and 11, 4.94, and he finished with a FIP of 4.61. So, once again, not amazing performances by Kershaw, Leonard, and Strasbourg. I'd expect both Leonard and Strasbourg to have a bounce back season. If you take a look at Strasbourg, he has been pretty consistent in the 3s, 4s, and 5s there. And if you look at Dutch Leonard, he's been sort of in that sort of 3 to 4 category too, so we'd expect him to do a little bit better. Let's take a look at some of the key stats here. So home runs per 9, anything 1.1 and below is what I'm aiming for here. And it looks like a lot of the players did have good stats in that regard. Carlton, our starter, 0.7, 2.7 base on balls, which is a little bit high, but Ks per 9 of 8.5. That's a nice stat line there. Let's sort them by WAR, actually. Shane Bieber, let's take a look at his stat line. 1.1 is great, right on target. 1.4 is nice and low. 6.8 is not amazing, but respectable. An ERA plus of 104. So from an ERA plus point of view, Carlton, what do we have? Liam Hendricks, the reliever, and also John Henry Johnson. One of the relievers had some nice stats there from an ERA plus point of view. Quite a few under 100, so definitely a bit of work to do in both my rotation and my bullpen. Let's take a look at WHIP. That's always a nice one to look at. Here, Shane Bieber leading the pack with 1.14. It's pretty nice, and Carlton up there, 1.15. That's great. Anything under 1.30 is acceptable. So a good percentage of the team, we're looking pretty good there. Let's take a quick look at our relievers. Jonathan Papelbon, he's been pretty solid for us year in, year out. Another good performance, 3.02 with 33 saves. That's nice. How do you go from a blow-in saves point of view? Have we got that information at hand? I can't see it there. Let's go pitching stats. It will be one of these expanded pitching stats. I can't find it, everybody. I'll look at one more. Blow-in saves. There we go. Just 2028, just 3 blow-in saves. That's pretty solid. Actually, look back there, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, he did pretty well with no blow-in saves whatsoever. That's great. We took a while to find that, didn't we? So, so good performance there by him. Hendricks, of course, up there with 3.05 ERA, 14 saves. Nick Birdie in there. John Henry Johnson showed some good stats in terms of WHIP and decent from a WAR point of view, and he had a good ERA too. Once again, you can't take the ERA as being the be-all and end-all, but here he is up the top there with a 3.39 FIP, meaning that the fielding didn't really help him at all this year, so it was really all on his shoulders. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There goes our first season back in the Bronze League. Bronze League, I should say. Remember, we did make it a few seasons ago and then got bounced straight back out. So it was good just to consolidate our position and look to give it a good nudge next year. Now, we've got 8,000 perfect points in the bank at the moment. I'm just going to build that up a little bit more into the sort of the early teens and then start looking at what we can do to either improve our starting rotation or maybe bring in some relievers. I'll just have to have a look. From a offensive point of view, Nothing sticks out amazing. Maybe Longoria could be one to look at replacing. He really hasn't performed amazingly throughout the years. He did have a good year last year at 3.2 WAR, 255, 316. That still isn't blowing us away. Although his fielding stats, let's take a look. Zone rating of 2.8 is solid enough. Tulowitzki I'd be keeping. Harper. Yeah, I'd say really at this point Longoria is the one that's at risk of perhaps being given the short shift. And if that was the case, how's he looking in terms of other... he's just only got third base really, so he's not going to be that not much good from a replacement point of view either. We really need to have him versatile across a number of positions. He has been involved in two. He got the 2027 Platinum Stick, 226 Iron Level Champion, and then 227 Iron Level. Oh, that's right, because we bought him off another team. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Season 2028 in the books. Another very entertaining season, and I did keep up with it on most days, in and out, and it was really interesting seeing how we performed coming back into this level. I have noticed that the leagues are definitely a lot more even now. We're not having those large number of teams with a massive amount of 100 rated players and stuff like that winning 130, 140 games or whatever it was. So that certainly makes it a bit more enjoyable. But let's hope, let's see, how about I set my target for this coming season? Let's look to make the playoffs again and maybe even get promoted. I have to have a look and see how many are going to be promoted. If it's the same as this year, it will be 8 teams going up. And to make that, you need to win your division and you guarantee yourself to go up. Otherwise, get into the wild card game and win that, and then you're guaranteed to go up. So those teams making it through to sort of that divisional series sort of level. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, everybody, take it easy.